what Nietzsche really meant by laziness. When we hear the word lazy, most of us picture someone who just doesn't want to work. But that's too shallow. Nietzsche's lens goes deeper. He saw laziness not as the absence of motion, but as the decay of will. Laziness for him wasn't about lying on the couch, it was about shrinking away from the hard process of becoming. He believed every living thing contains a will to power, an inner drive to expand, create, and rise beyond what it currently is. That's not about dominating others, it's about dominating your weaker impulses. In Nietzsche's worldview, your energy, your creativity, your hunger, all of it is meant to grow through resistance. When that drive stalls, it doesn't disappear, it curdles, turns into comfort-seeking, distraction, self-pity. That's laziness in its purest form, wasted potential disguised as rest. The modern equivalent? Getting trapped in perception instead of progress. You scroll through success stories, productivity hacks, motivational quotes, but deep down, you know none of it replaces action. Nietzsche insisted that life itself is will in motion. To live fully is to impose form on chaos, to take all your raw, chaotic impulses and direct them into something that matters. Laziness isn't stillness, it's chaos with no direction. It's the refusal to sculpt your power into purpose. That's why he despised comfort for comfort's sake. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he warned that chasing ease and safety turns human beings into the last men, creatures content with mediocrity, allergic to passion, living lives of quiet repetition. Sound familiar? That's what endless web browsing, binge-watching, and half-hearted multitasking represent today. Think about what comfort means now. Convenience, automation, next-day delivery, same-day dopamine. You hardly have to think, let alone struggle. Nietzsche would have called that spiritual sedation. The price of constant ease is dullness of mind and weakness of will. He believed our suffering is not our enemy, our avoidance of it is. In his writing, he often contrasted craft, innate strength, with mocked external power. Real strength wasn't about controlling others, it was about transforming your inner resistance into creative force. Laziness, then, is the collapse of that transformation. You see it in daily behavior. Someone opens their laptop, already tired before typing a single word. They want success, but they dread effort. So they wander through tabs, convincing themselves research counts as progress. Another person rewatches the same motivational videos each week, getting small bursts of false satisfaction rather than building endurance. Nietzsche would have seen both as symptoms of a deeper longing, not being lived out. When your will to power stagnates, it looks productive on the surface, but it's reaction rather than creation. And here's the twist: Nietzsche didn't condemn rest or leisure. He valued recovery, reflection, and solitude. What he attacked was the spirit of avoidance, the consistent choice of ease over becoming. He wrote that one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. That chaos, the discomfort, anxiety, and doubt, is the raw material of greatness. Laziness is what happens when you refuse to dance with it. In modern productivity terms, lazy behavior isn't always about being idle. It's misdirected energy, staying busy on the wrong things, filling your schedule so you can feel important without confronting what actually matters. Checking email every 10 minutes, color-coding your planner, organizing files you'll never open. These rituals replace bold creation with simulated control. Nietzsche would say that's the will to power losing its aim. The iron has gone cold. He'd also point to our culture's addiction to comfort as proof that we fear ourselves. The constant stream of entertainment isn't just fun, it's anesthetic. You avoid ambition because ambition hurts. It threatens your sense of adequacy. So you choose manageable pleasures instead, a show, a scroll, a snack. Yet inside, the unfulfilled will rebels. That vague restlessness you feel late at night, that guilt after wasting hours online, that's your will to power knocking, begging for purpose. Nietzsche believed the cure wasn't discipline for its own sake, it was self-overcoming. You don't fight laziness by guilt or shame. You fight it by giving that suppressed energy something worthy to push against. In his words, creation must be an act of conquest, conquering not others, but yourself. Every time you wake up and choose the harder thing, even in a small way, you confirm your vitality. You become proof that will still exists. The frightening part? Society rarely rewards that anymore. We worship comfort. Companies promise effortless results, lose weight without trying, earn passive income while you sleep. Automate your success. Nietzsche would have laughed, then warned that such promises breed spiritual poverty. He argued that greatness only arrives through sustained tension. Without the grind, the obstacle, the resistance, the soul softens. Laziness, therefore, is not a failure of willpower, it's a cultural temptation dressed as progress. So what did he really mean by laziness? It's the internal surrender to inertia disguised as self-care. It's emotional passivity masquerading as efficiency. It's when you lose the appetite for becoming more. For Nietzsche, to feel alive meant to stretch, to risk, to burn through limitation. Life is justified only as an experiment in self-transcendence. When you stop experimenting, when comfort becomes your default, you stop truly living. And yet, here's the hope. The same energy that fuels distraction can be redirected. The same hunger that drives you to check your phone can drive you to build something instead. In Nietzschean terms, every wasted moment is potential unclaimed. Laziness isn't a sentence, it's a symptom reminding you that needs a challenge. That's the reframe we need for the modern age. Laziness isn't rest gone bad, it's power unexpressed. Now, take a second and think about what drains you most. Is it the hours online? The meetings that don't matter? The background noise of constant notifications? Nietzsche would say, look there, that's your battlefield. Every swipe, every click, every avoidance is a micro-choice in the war for your own becoming. The only question is whether you'll rise above comfort or remain one of the last men, numbed by convenience. So next time you catch yourself doing that little avoidance dance, opening new tabs, refreshing feeds, waiting for motivation, pause and ask, what am I refusing to become right now? Because laziness isn't harmless, it compounds. It kills momentum, then purpose, then confidence. But it's not your nature, it's your escape. And the moment you see it that way, you gain the power Nietzsche prized above all, the power to begin again. That's the real meaning of laziness in Nietzsche's world, not sleepiness of the body, but sleepiness of the spirit. Wake that spirit up, and the fog of procrastination will start to lift. Up next, we'll look closer at the modern comfort trap, the screens and dopamine loops that make this inner surrender almost automatic, and how to break out before they drain the will that's still alive inside you. The modern comfort trap. Let's be honest, comfort feels good. You've had a long day, you sit down, open your phone, and tell yourself you'll check messages for just a minute. That minute turns into 45. By the time you look up, you've consumed a highlight reel of other people's lives while yours stands still. The trap isn't that comfort exists, it's that it disguises decay as recovery. Nietzsche would look at this digital world and say, you've outsourced your will to the algorithm. Every scroll is a tiny surrender, a flick of the thumb trading creative tension for passive stimulation. Screens have perfected what Nietzsche warned against, pleasures without depth. The dopamine hits you get from notifications, likes, and short videos mimic achievement. Your brain lights up as if you just finished something important, but nothing actually changed. That's the danger. You feel accomplished, yet you've moved nowhere. Nietzsche saw that same phenomenon in 19th century culture, people clinging to empty beliefs and distractions to avoid confronting the work of becoming. He'd see our endless online loops as the latest form of that avoidance, only faster, smoother, and far more addictive. Modern neuroscience backs him up. Your phone trains you on a reward schedule that keeps you chasing novelty instead of mastery. A ping teaches the brain that fulfillment is random and immediate. In that soil, patience dies. Nietzsche's philosophy was the polar opposite. He taught that struggle and delay give life its shape. Meaning grows slowly, through friction. When everything becomes instant, the will weakens because it never learns endurance. You could say Nietzsche foresaw the psychological outcome of social media a century early, overstimulation leading to spiritual fatigue. The worst part is that these distractions wear the costume of productivity. You open a new app to learn, then end up comparing yourself to influencers who seem endlessly driven. You call it research while your deeper drive, the will to create, is quietly sedated. Nietzsche said that human beings don't simply want to avoid pain, they want to feel powerful. When that desire finds no worthy outlet, it latches onto cheap substitutes. Likes, streaks, and views, all symbolic forms of recognition, pretend to satisfy the will to power. But they leave you weaker because they depend on others to define your worth. The comfort trap doesn't just consume hours, it rewires ambition. You start preferring the appearance of progress to progress itself. That's why so many of us multitask ourselves into exhaustion yet still feel hollow. We plan elaborate morning routines, watch deep work videos, download productivity apps, each action giving a flash of purpose. But without anchoring your effort to a creation or a challenge, these habits become decoration. As Nietzsche would say, we're playing at life instead of living it. The will to power, misdirected toward constant self-optimization, becomes will to image management. Picture it this way: your mind is a forge. Discomfort is the heat that shapes iron into something strong. Comfort cools the metal until it's too soft to hold form. The more you escape tension, the more brittle your potential becomes. Nietzsche's last man lives exactly like that. Always comfortable, always entertained, proud of his balance, but incapable of passion. Today's last man refreshes a feed instead of facing the blank page, the workout, the project that might actually matter. He feels busy because the stream never stops, yet his life is static. The irony is, technology isn't the villain. A hammer can build or destroy depending on the hand that holds it. Nietzsche would never say, throw away your phone. He'd say, prove you're the master of it. The test is simple: who commands whom? Does the device serve your creative will, or do you serve its design? Each time you reach for quick relief, ask what that gesture costs you. A few seconds of ease can steal the momentum of an entire afternoon. Awareness breaks the loop, but only if you act on it. Close the tab, leave the app, breathe through the boredom until the impulse fades. Here's where it gets practical. Replace passive intake with deliberate creation. Next time you feel the itch to scroll, open a note and write one useful sentence about your current goal. When you crave a burst of novelty, learn to channel it into micro-experiments. Draft a single slide for your project, sketch an idea, outline a video concept. Train your brain to pair satisfaction with progress, not consumption. This is Nietzsche's will to power in modern form, redirecting energy toward construction rather than distraction. Each small act of direction strengthens the muscle that screens try to atrophy. But let's not romanticize constant struggle. The comfort trap also thrives on guilt, the endless cycle of shame after wasting time. Nietzsche would tell you not to indulge it. Guilt is just another indulgence, energy turned backward. The moment you recognize you've slipped, reassert the will. Stand up, move, re-enter the task that demands growth. The goal isn't purity, it's momentum. The way you respond to relapse determines whether the day is lost or reclaimed. Modern culture equates comfort with self-care, but Nietzsche would draw a line between true restoration and sedative indulgence. Rest that refuels your will is strength. Rest that numbs your will is decay. Ask yourself before you relax, does this refresh me for creation or remove me from it? The first is nourishment. The second is escape. Over time, stacking those micro-choices determines the trajectory of your career, your craft, and your character. We've built an economy around your avoidance. The infinite scroll thrives on your hesitation to act. Breaking free isn't about deleting everything, it's about reclaiming authorship over attention. When you decide what deserves your eyes, you decide what kind of person you'll become. Each focused hour is a declaration that your will still rules. So take a breath. Look at the glow of your screen and remember, comfort is silent, patient, persuasive. It whispers that you've earned one more break, one more scroll, one more harmless distraction. Nietzsche would smirk and say, that's your weakness talking. The antidote isn't to run from technology, but to stare it down and use it deliberately. Open loops close, tasks finish, meaning returns. That is how you turn the modern world's greatest trap into a training ground. Because every time you conquer the urge for easy pleasure, you strengthen the muscle that laziness fears most, the will to act. Self-overcoming 101, turning struggle into strength. Here's where the philosophy turns practical. Nietzsche's idea of Selbstüberwindung, self-overcoming, is the daily work of turning weakness into fuel. He believed every person has two selves, the one that seeks comfort and the one that seeks creation. These two fight every morning before you even leave bed. That instant when you hesitate to get up, when you loop through excuses, is your battlefield. Winning that moment, no matter how small, is where self-overcoming begins. Nietzsche didn't imagine self-overcoming as some grand, one-time transformation. It's repetition, confronting resistance again and again until effort becomes instinct. Think of it like weight training for willpower. Each rep of discomfort strengthens the muscle that carries you through harder things. You start with small acts, choosing to write the report before opening messages, walking in the cold instead of waiting for perfect weather, speaking up at the meeting rather than staying safe. Each deliberate push says, I'm stronger than the voice that wants ease. The important shift is redefining struggle. Most of us treat discomfort as a signal to stop. Nietzsche treated it as a compass. If something feels difficult yet meaningful, that's the direction of growth. Avoiding that edge keeps you soft, leaning into it forges identity. He wrote that to reach greatness, one must welcome tension the way an artist welcomes pressure on the brush. Without resistance, there's no art, only blank canvas. Translating that to modern life, your frustration at a slow project, your boredom during deep work, your anxiety before a presentation, those are the exact materials you're meant to shape, not escape. Now you might say, that's inspiring, but what does it look like in practice? Let's make it concrete. Every morning, before diving into tasks, identify one action that intimidates you. The email you keep postponing, the messy draft sitting half done, the workout you promised yourself yesterday. Label it clearly, my challenge of the day. Then attack it first. Not dramatically, but deliberately. The point isn't perfection, it's proof. By completing that one difficult thing, you confirm your capacity to overcome hesitation. That small victory reactivates momentum and sets the tone for everything that follows. Resistance never disappears, it just changes costume. Some days it's laziness, others it's avoidance disguised as planning. Nietzsche understood that humans are experts at rationalizing delay, so expose your excuses early. When you catch the thought, I'll do it later, translate it to its true meaning. I prefer weakness right now. That blunt honesty might sting, but it cuts through illusion. Self-overcoming requires truth without sugarcoating. You can't dominate a habit you won't name. Here's a helpful micro-practice Nietzsche would endorse: the 1-minute rule of defiance. The moment you feel the pull to procrastinate, commit to doing the task for just 60 seconds. Start the slide deck, open the document, stretch for 1 minute. More often than not, that small movement dissolves inertia. Will expands through action, not thought. The mind resists beginnings, but once you act, instinct takes over. Canceling that first delay is your daily victory against decay. You might wonder why such small acts matter in the grand scheme. Nietzsche would answer, because the soul measures itself by battles won, not by comfort secured. Each mini-struggle is a rebirth of will. Over time, these compound into character. The person who habitually faces resistance stops fearing it. They seek it consciously, knowing that struggle sharpens purpose. That's the foundation of discipline, not punishment, but pride in testing strength. Now let's talk about failure, because it's central to self-overcoming. Most people relapse into old habits and label themselves weak. Nietzsche would reject that narrative. He saw failure as evidence that you're still alive enough to fight. What kills progress isn't falling, it's refusing to rise. When something collapses, a missed deadline, a skipped workout, observe it without judgment. Ask, what resistance did I avoid? Then plan your counterattack immediately. The faster you convert shame into strategy, the quicker you regain power. To strengthen this reflex, build what I call proof stacks. Keep a simple log where you record moments of resistance conquered each day, no matter how tiny. Finished a page instead of watching another video? Write it down. Answered a difficult email calmly? Add it. By visualizing victories, you train your brain to associate effort with evidence. Nietzsche spoke of creating your own values. This is that principle in microform. You're telling your mind, this is what strength looks like for me. But be careful, self-overcoming can slide into self-punishment if misused. Nietzsche's struggle wasn't about self-hate, it was about self-surpassing. The goal isn't endless grind or exhaustion, it's transformation. Think blacksmith, not martyr. The fire exists to refine, not to destroy. When you push through a challenge, pause afterward and acknowledge the gain. That reflection turns raw will into wisdom, a crucial step most hustlers skip. Strength without reflection just repeats effort. Strength with reflection evolves. Another core practice is solitude. In a world that celebrates constant connection, solitude has become the new discomfort. Nietzsche considered it sacred because it forces confrontation with self. When you sit quietly with your thoughts, distractions cleared, you meet your real fears: inadequacy, uncertainty, impatience. Staying present with them without flinching is perhaps the highest form of self-overcoming. If you can watch those emotions rise and still choose action, you've mastered the inner battlefield better than most managers, entrepreneurs, or influencers ever will. Here's a simple framework to apply each day: reflection, challenge, creation, gratitude. Start by noting where your resistance hides. Choose one meaningful hardship to face. Create something, anything, under its weight. End the day thanking the tension that made you stronger. That full loop keeps energy circulating rather than stagnating. Laziness can't survive in motion. Ultimately, Nietzsche's principle is a mindset shift. Stop seeking motivation, start seeking confrontation. Motivation waits for comfort, confrontation creates it. Each morning becomes a test. Will you choose slight pain now or greater regret later? The habit of self-overcoming answers that silently through action. It turns the chaos of hesitation into the rhythm of growth. So the next time you face that internal tug to delay, remember, resistance is proof of potential. The stronger the pull to avoid, the more meaningful the task likely is. Treat that tension as an invitation. Push once, even lightly, and watch strength follow. Over time, that's how struggle transforms from enemy to energy. That's how Nietzsche's philosophy stops being abstract and starts becoming a daily operating system. Find your laziness patterns.